Welcome back to the Truth Factory in this disaster of a disaster story. I truly believe that Jesus Campos is the key to the Las Vegas shooting. He was the unnamed security guard that was labeled a hero because he called the FBI and alerted them to Paddock's floor, and he was allegedly shot in the leg. But the police story on Campos still continues to change, and we know almost nothing about him. He might not even be real for all we know. All we have are some pictures of this guy. Here he is holding up a sign thanking everyone. Here he is again, and now he has a band-aid. No band-aid, band-aid. What's this about? Is this where they shot him and now they're parading around his corpse for photo ops like those old-timey pictures where they would take photos with cadavers? That's not a cane, that's just one of the various rods holding up his body. And why is this part of the image blocked out? Are they blocking out a gun or what? And whose hand is this? Is this Jesus' hand turned like that? This is like Weekend at Bernie's here.
Doesn't anyone realize he's dead?
Hold the boat! Got him! Hold the boat!
Maybe I shouldn't joke about it, but it's so obvious that they're hiding something that is borderline comical. Do they think that anyone believes these horseshit lies anymore? Even if the police were being 100% honest here, which they aren't, it would just show complete incompetency.
The word incompetence has been brought forward, and I am absolutely offended with that characterization.
And it's taken independent journalist Laura Loomer on crowdfunded donations to crack open this case and expose the lies. She's the one who called Lombardo out for his inaccurate information, and because of that they banned independent media from attending the press conferences or from asking any questions.
Official timeline change because
Please stop asking your question.
Which just shows that they're hiding something. So Laura went to Jesus' house and he had a personal guard there whose name was Troy Goff, and he claimed to work with a private security company called On Scene. So we have a security guard protecting a security guard? Yo dog, I heard you like security guards, so I put a Troy Goff on your yard to protect you while you protect. That's a really old meme. Now, Troy refused to answer if he worked for the FBI or an intelligence agency, but On Scene was an agency that hired only out of a pool of those with military or police experience for VIP clients.
On-scene investigators are hand-selected. They're pre-screened based on their law enforcement military background. Most have 720 hours of certified post-law enforcement training.
I say was because On Scene no longer has a valid business license. So who the hell is this guy? Well, he's a licensed embalmer. Here's a picture from his Facebook. I believe this is Troy from when he was younger. This is just getting spooky. So now Jesus was supposed to do a series of interviews including Hannity, but then suddenly canceled and just disappeared. Did he disappear? Was he taken? What's going on? Or did Troy Goff just have to spray more lacquer on his corpse to keep him fresh?
I wouldn't have any knowledge of that.
Because if you're really a hero, why would you cancel Hannity? There is something suspicious going on here. So then Laura Loomer goes back to Jesus' house and a family member answers the door and says that she can't say anything.
We have information that he's actually missing and he canceled his interview with Sean Hannity. There's major concern throughout the nation that something happened to him.
Is he missing or is he here?
I have to go.
He's not here?
We can't talk about stuff right now.
It's almost like the family has a gag order. And then seconds later, Mr. Gaff, the embalmer, comes back. This is some Addams Family level spooky shit here. Jesus recently started working for Mandalay Bay during the summer, so it's possible that he could have been in on this, but for all we know, Jesus could have been at the wrong place at the wrong time and is, well, now, I don't know. We don't know where he is. He's missing. And as I've established in an earlier video, Paddock most likely made his money illegally. You don't make millions of dollars playing video poker. I believe he was 100% addicted to gambling, but that's probably where he lost most of his money, not where he made it. So to say that he could have been an arms dealer or a hired hitman is not out of the realm of possibilities. The cops won't say what his motive was because it would open up a whole new bag of worms, but I think it's pretty obvious looking at Stephen Paddock's lifestyle that his motive was money.
But $100,000 isn't that huge amount of money. He gambled that much through a machine in hours.
And Paddock was hired for a job that ended very poorly for him, and his death is fairly suspicious. Officer Dave Newtown, who was on the scene, was quoted by saying,
I didn't see any apparent wounds to his head, but I did see a lot of blood that had come out of his mouth.
Well, there was a bloody revolver, I think, nearby him that was on the ground, consistent with him shooting himself.
So is it possible that Stephen Paddock was shot in the chest? Well, that would also cause a large amount of blood to come out of your mouth, and this would fit with the blood stain that's on his chest where his heart would be, and it wouldn't make sense to have blood there if you had a head wound. Also, look at the drips of blood beside the revolver. If a bloody revolver fell, it would splatter, not drip. But if you look at the drips beside the revolver, it's a drip type pattern. This indicates that it was most likely placed there and didn't fall. Stephen Paddock's death could have been a murder, not a suicide. If he was set up from the beginning to take the fall for this, who murdered him, who was paying him, and why?
What did you see?
It was still very much in my brain. There's 50 other dudes in here somewhere.
So let's follow the breadcrumbs and see who is getting paid here. First, Lombardo, who looks like he's having a mental breakdown in front of everyone. Now, Lombardo has received approximately $2.5 million in campaign donations, most of which have been from casinos, which legally tap out at $10,000 a year. Here you can see that the MGM Grand was a big supporter of Lombardo, and this is just what they have on paper, so who knows if he's taken anything else under the table. So who is Lombardo really working for here? The people? Or MGM Grand. Also, Mr. George Soros bet $42 million against MGM Grand stocks, betting that the stocks would go down. Also, MGM Grand CEO James Murren divested himself $13.7 million worth of shares in his own company between July and September. James Murren was also donating MGM shareholder money to CARE, you know, a group that was named a co-conspirator of Muslim terrorism by the Justice Department, as many CARE officials and associates have been convicted on jihad terror charges. Along with that, the MGM Grand also released a letter to its employees asking them to donate to several organizations, including CARE, the Southern Poverty Law Center, and the NAACP, all of which are heavily funded by George Soros, which makes me think that they're on the same level politically. Now, James Murren is also a sitting member of the Homeland Security National Infrastructure Advisory Council, so he's responsible for getting legislation and regulations passed for security and technology infrastructure, such as X-ray backscatter machines in public places. So the CEO of Mandalay Bay, the site of the horrific massacre, has connections to push new security regulations that could make certain companies millions, if not billions of dollars, and this is already happening. Of course, this is a conspiracy theory, but the pieces line up here better than the official ever-changing garbage story fed out by the FBI and the mainstream media. And perhaps the MGM Grand funded and orchestrated an attack on their own hotel, the same hotel that was donating large sums of money to the Las Vegas sheriff for years, whose CEO was a member of the Homeland Security National Infrastructure Advisory Council, who dumped the majority of his stocks before the attack, whose employee, who was said to be a hero, is now mysteriously missing. This is not adding up, and it's not fooling anyone. This goes much deeper than the surface, and everyone involved knows more than they're letting on. Alright guys, I just want to thank everyone for supporting me. Thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing. Really appreciate it. A link to my Patreon and my Twitter and my VidMe in the description. Have a great night, guys.